how do you interpret the political divisions within Israel regarding the ongoing conflict, and what might this mean for the multiple fronts conflict that Israel is engaged in?
I'd like to welcome you all.
Thank you.
In fact, there are differences in the behavior of the Israeli opposition. So they oppose Netanyahu at a certain point for a certain conflict like the southern front line of Gaza. And in the northern front, they are totally lining up behind Netanyahu, and they are even more right-wing than Netanyahu himself. Yesterday, there was voting on stopping the work of UNRWA. The whole opposition supported Netanyahu. More than 92 Knesset members voted in the favor of the Israeli government resolution, and they were totally supported by the opposition. So in my opinion, this opposition is not strong enough to stop Netanyahu, because they do not have a clear vision and they do not have the charisma of or the attraction of the opposition. There is no charismatic figure to replace Netanyahu. At the beginning there was dance, and he performed some roles after October 7th, but Netanyahu with his intelligence could drag him into the war council, and after the prolonged war, Dan's lost his character and he couldn't continue. He had to withdraw. Actually, in 2 cases, Benny Gantz was losing. If he continued in his role, he would be following Netanyahu without any character, and if he withdraws, he is accused by Netanyahu that he gave up on Israel in the mid of the way. We now see that Benny Gantz is supporting Netanyahu according to the polls in this regard. So there is no way to curb the actions of Netanyahu and his government. This can only be achieved by the unification of the opposition and creating a strong front with a clear vision, not being confused behind the Netanyahu's policies, because he leads them from one front to another, and sometimes he confuses them by putting them in front of very different options, like what he did in the northern front, and like what he did regarding UNRWA issues. The opposition supported him. But as for the Iranian or the strike against Iran, some people agreed and some people disagreed, but there was no clear vision from the opposition. There is no real criticism against Netanyahu, who made the Israeli army lose its compass. He refuses the return of the Israeli hostages. He refused to conduct a deal to achieve this. Everyone knows that Netanyahu doesn't want the return of the hostages because the price will be very expensive.
Yes.
That may reach the dissolving his government.
Yes.
That's why he's procrastinating. If he returns the hostages, the goals of the war and the justifications of the war would disappear. That's why Netanyahu is trying always to make an endless goal for this war. He keeps the justification of the hostage people. At the beginning, his reason was Sinwar, but Sinwar was assassinated and the deal was not concluded after the assassination of Sinwar. He tried to make the whole world feel that Sinwar is the obstacle. Yesterday, he said he agrees to a 2-day truce, but he never agrees to the stop of the war, and he will never be involved in negotiations for stopping the war.